So I wanted to start speaking about the pregnancy, but before we get into that, let's just carry on with the school situation because these two are in the same timeline. Errol was in a play school that she loved, that I helped choose because I research things thoroughly and check schools out. Mr. Bradshaw chose her new school without me.
Against the court order.
Ja, ek kom daarby. Cool, né? So by law, we're supposed to co-parent Jade Bradshaw. Co-parent. We are both co-holders of full parental responsibilities and rights. I do exist. I do care. He chose Faros in Jeffreys Bay for Ariel as her new school. He enrolled her. Go check on the enrollment forms. My signature is not there. I didn't choose that school. I didn't give my consent. The matter was not discussed with me. Just like Mr. Bradshaw discusses nothing with me regarding to Ariel. He just does whatever he wants. And when I ask or give my input or beg and plead and say, please, I want to discuss this with you, I want to discuss that with you, doesn't. His standard answer for absolutely everything is speak to the family advocate. Or he says, see you in court, I'll fight you in court. Or he just ignores me. That's the way things go. No matter what. No matter if we have to talk about schooling, her health, doctor, extramural activities, therapy, anything. I don't have a say, but legally I'm supposed to have a say. So he didn't let me help make the decision, didn't allow me to be part of the process. He chose the school. My signature's not on those enrollment forms. You are actually not allowed to be, my daughter's not actually allowed to be in your care, Faros, Nadia de Jager, Mr. Vermaak, because my signature is not there. I never consented to be, for her to be there. The first day I went to pick my daughter up from school, at her new school, Nadia de Jager wanted to walk me to my car to make sure Ariel is safe, with her own mother, because Mr. Bradshaw had filled her head with lies about me. When he enrolled Ariel in that school, he gave them his version of the story, his lies. He submitted a protection order against Sean, which we didn't even know about. And once we became aware of it with that incident where they kidnapped her, we struggled for months to fight it in court, to have Ariel's name rescinded, so that Ariel is legally allowed to be around Sean. And it is rescinded, because he is not safe. Mr. Bradshaw was lying. He is a liar. And when you lie to the court and in affidavits and under oath and in applications, you are committing perjury. It is a crime, Jade Bradshaw. It is a crime, Mr. Spangenberg. You should be in jail. You should be arrested. You should sleep cold on the floor in a dirty police cell, smelling of urine and feces because the toilets don't flush and they don't give you toilet paper. You've got nothing to wipe with, nothing to wash yourself with. Cold on the floor. So, Mr. Vermaak and Nadia de Jager had their head filled with lies and one-sided stories from Mr. Bradshaw and court orders and applications and family advocates' reports that apparently told them everything they needed to know. And they had no interest in hearing my side of the story, in co-parenting with me. I told them repeatedly, we are co-holders of full parental rights and responsibilities. Any and all communication must be sent to both of us. Both of us. Mr. Bradshaw cannot make decisions alone. Any decisions regarding my daughter, you need to contact me. I am her mother. I do care. More than Mr. Bradshaw. Infinitely more. So much more that I have gone to prison for my little girl twice. Because I will not stop fighting for her. Nadia de Jager constantly, repeatedly tried to tell me what was best for Ariel and spoke to me like I was some sort of retard that doesn't know or care about my own daughter. Her teacher, that's who she is. Sorry for those who don't know. It was horrible. It is horrible to have a school teacher and a fellow mother judge you like that and think they know you. And I know what Jade says about me. And knowing that she believes this was heartbreaking to me because it's not the truth. And I tried to tell her over and over again. I said, please, I'll show you all the court documents. I'll tell you the full story. I want you to understand because you work with my daughter. She was so ugly to me all the time. She was such a bitch. Incredibly, she was so nasty and petty and tatty in her WhatsApp messages. It was so unprofessional. I'd never seen anything like it. To bite at another mother like that, the mother of a little girl in your class, you behaved so unprofessionally. It was disgusting. I am embarrassed and ashamed for you. That shows a lack of integrity and elegance as a woman, as a mother, as a teacher. Sis man. You filled my daughter's head with lies about me because you perpetuated Mr. Bradshaw's lies about me. And you made her feel like I was not safe. You warned her against her own mother repeatedly. I would pick her up from school and she'd be so anxious and so scared and so unsure because she's not sure if you're talking the truth or if she can believe me or trust me. Because her dad's saying bad things about me, her teacher's saying bad things about me, but she knows in her little heart that it's not true. And so every time I fetch her, she's so confused. And she's so scared to speak to me. And it takes her forever to relax. But when she does relax, it's so wonderful to spend time with my own daughter. And it's so horrible every time I had to drop her back at Mr. Bradshaw's house. Ariel and I suffered with horrible separation anxiety from each other for the last 2.5 years. She would cling to me in the car when I have to go and drop her off. She would start acting out and crying and moaning about stupid things. Little things would blow up into this big event because she's actually upset that she has to go, that she can't stay with her mommy. But she can't say it. Above and beyond this scenario and angle, what is disturbing to me, Nadia de Jager, is that you groom my child. Literally. You brush her hair, you do her hair, you plait her hair, you cut her hair, you sit and have hot chocolate with her at break time when she's supposed to be playing with the other kids. You spend an uncomfortable amount of personal one-on-one time with my daughter.
After being asked not to.
After being asked to back off and stay out of our personal life.
More than once.
Repeatedly. It's not professional. It's creepy. It's an overstepping of boundaries. And it is a symptom and sign of a child predator. Because before she started at Faros school, my daughter spoke to me happily, comfortably, spontaneously when I would fetch her at school, her old school.
She wouldn't even keep quiet in her sleep.
She is bubbly and chatty and has a lovely personality. She's a chatterbox. We used to tease her about it. When I would fetch her from her play school, she was always telling me what happened. Even if it was bad, there was a little girl that was her friend but also bullied her, and she would tell me about it. She wasn't scared to tell me things. But ever since she started at Faros, when I would pick her up from school, she was so scared and nervous to speak. I would ask her how was school, then she would say, I can't, then she just keeps quiet or she puts her hand over her mouth. I ask her, what did you do today? She says, I can't remember. And it's not the truth. I know she's so clever and so bright. She remembers so many things. I know she's lying. I know it's not the truth. For some reason, she was not comfortable speaking to me. And she repeatedly, often, signaled me that someone is telling her not to speak, or she's not comfortable to speak, or she's not allowed to speak. She would put her hand over her mouth. When I try and speak to her or ask her things, she does this. Who taught her that? Was it you, Nadia de Jager? Or was it you, Jade? Who is silencing my little girl? What are you hiding?
Or Mr. Vermaak, because he acted out peculiarly strangely, like Mary Poppins had a drag festival.
It is a major, major red flag when a teacher is grooming your daughter, spending an unusual amount of private time with your daughter, when your daughter's not comfortable to speak, when her habits and behavior and her personality changes in front of your very eyes. This is a concern. I made an appointment with the principal to come and speak to him about my concerns, because I'm worried about my daughter. Because a child that is not comfortable speaking, who was previously comfortable speaking, means there's something wrong.
Previously, like last week, not personality over time, like suddenly.
Like from one school to the next, that was the major big change. Plus the fact that her father stole her and she now lives with her father. Those are the two factors that changed my daughter. So I tried to make an appointment. I didn't try. I made an appointment with the school principal. I arrived with my parents, and Mr. Vermaak was extremely upset and uncomfortable with the fact that my parents wanted to be part of the appointment and the meeting. I don't know why. I don't know what you're hiding. Mr. Vermaak turned red in the face and screamed and shouted at my parents and I, because I wouldn't have a meeting alone with them. I wanted my parents to be present, and they were not comfortable having my parents present in the meeting. Why? What you hiding? Because you were screaming at me in the courtyard in front of all the teachers and the students, saying, "My house, my rules. My house, my rules," over and over again. After this incident,
Wants to then have a meeting with Miss Nadia as witness, to have a meeting about Miss Nadia.
Okay, so my complaint was against Nadia de Jager for meddling and cutting my daughter's hair. You are not a hairdresser, you're not her mother, you're her teacher. I've never in my entire life heard of a teacher cutting a child's hair, especially if you are not asked, especially if you don't have the mother's consent. You do not cut a child's hair. You are not her mother. You are not a hairdresser. Why are you doing my child's hair? Why are you cutting her hair? I wanted to have a meeting. My complaint was about Mr. Jager. Now, I wanted my parents present because I wasn't comfortable having a meeting alone with Mr. Vermaak, because I know all too well from all my many meetings and interviews with the family advocate Elaine Botha, that if you have a meeting alone with someone, it's very easy for them to twist your words and say things when it's not accurate or not exactly how you said it, because there's no witness, there's no evidence, there's no recording. 3 years of fighting in court and people lying about me and twisting my words taught me you don't have a meeting alone with someone when there's no witness to who is saying what. So I explained to Mr. Vermaak, I'm not comfortable having a meeting alone with him. I want my parents to be present as witness. He said, Mr. Jager will be my witness. She's the witness. But she's the one against whom I laid the complaint. Are you dumb? How's she the witness? She is not independent or neutral in this situation. I've got a complaint against her. She can't be my witness. She's not on my side. I don't know where you got your education. That doesn't make any sense. Plus, I explained to you, and my parents explained to you, my mother explained to you, that they have also got concerns, because they are a big part of Ariel's life. often helped to fetch her from school. They spent a lot of time with her. They noticed concerning changes. They were worried about her. I was worried about her. It is my understanding that a normal, sane, rational school principal that conducts himself in an ethical manner and runs his school in an ethical manner and has nothing to hide will sit down and have an amicable meeting with parents of a concerned child. There was no reason for that incident to blow up the way it did if there was nothing wrong, if you were not hiding anything. What are you hiding? Why is my daughter so scared to speak? Who taught her to put her hand over her mouth and not speak? When I was in primary school, our headmaster was a lovely man. He was strict and authoritarian. He led the school, but with grace and elegance. He conducted himself extremely professionally, but gently, because he worked with children. He never screamed and shouted and went red in the face and chased parents away for trying to have a meeting. I myself, as a little girl in school, was able to go to my headmaster's office. His door was always open, with or without my parents. Any child, any parent was always welcome to sit down and talk about any concerns. He was a wonderful man. He set a good example. So I know what a principal is supposed to be and do and how they're supposed to behave. And that is not it. And so I did not feel comfortable leaving my daughter in a school where it's his house, his rules, and I as a mother have no say and cannot sit down and have a calm, decent discussion about concerns to find solutions. That's what we wanted to do, and we had an appointment to do it. And so I took Ariel home with me because I was not comfortable leaving her there. Because I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what they're hiding. I wanted to unenroll her from the school, but I don't have a say. I don't have a voice. Because Elaine Botha with all your court orders, and Mr. Bradshaw with all your lies, and Himansdorp Hof with all your corruption, you took my voice away. I asked for a round table meeting with Mr. Bradshaw, his lawyer, and my lawyer to sit and discuss all my concerns with Ariel's new school. I was ignored. My attorney told me that because Mr. Bradshaw does not want to cooperate and co-parent and discuss things with me, the best thing to do is just to let her go to school, and then we must bring up the school issues in court. But I don't get a voice in court. Nico Stander, by the way, Captain Nico Stander, when our case for these 2 arrests and imprisonment was transferred to New Law Court in Port Elizabeth, because of the corrupt mess at Humansdorp Court and the conflict of interest, because I had laid so many complaints against all the corrupt officials and magistrates there that they could not hear my case, because I refused for them to have jurisdiction over me, because they would have sentenced me to a life in prison to shut me up. The matter was moved to New Law Court. That's when you repeatedly forgot the dockets and played dumb. You walked out of that court frustrated, almost in tears, because you could not get your way. We were let go on a warning, and you wanted us not to be allowed to be in Jeffreys Bay when we'd done nothing wrong. And my attorney, our attorney, and the prosecutor and the magistrate told you, but it can't be like that. We're not guilty of anything. You can't use a bail condition when it's not even bail, because you've let us out on a warning. It's not bail. But now you want to use some sort of condition when we've not even been found guilty of anything. You can't inflict a punishment when there's no guilt.
Wants to ban us out of J-Bay.
You wanted to ban us from Jeffreys Bay.
You're banned from J-Bay, so say I, Lord Farquhar.
You were so upset and threw a little hissy fit that you didn't get your way, because it's not legal, it's not the law. You walked out of that court and you said, I don't have a voice in this court. I want to say to you, Captain Nikustander, that is how I have felt for the last 3.5 years at Humansdorp. You guys have taken my voice away. You've taken my daughter's voice away. You took our human rights away. You abused us. You ruined our lives. You ruined her childhood.
And again tonight, like any other night, something might be happening while adults sit around talking. But we're getting to that. Nel Marie, please continue.
So, the pregnancy. The divorce kept being postponed. I was very frustrated because we had decided to fall pregnant and God blessed us. But now the divorce wasn't settled, and that was not the plan. Because I was given a date and promised that the magistrate wants to finalize the divorce on this date, and it didn't work. It didn't materialize. And so, in the midst of the pregnancy, our rental home was sold and we were forced to move. And the divorce was going on in court, and the constant fighting, and the worrying about my daughter, because whenever I pick her up from school, she doesn't speak to me. She's scared, she's anxious. Then I have to go drop her off at her father's house, and she clings to me. My heart was breaking because I was only seeing my daughter every second weekend and 1 or 2 afternoons in the week.
I wasn't seeing her at all. I had to live at the beach.
Yes, while we were sorting out the protection order against Sean and Errol wasn't allowed to be around him, he had to leave his own home that he was paying for so that my daughter could spend time with me. That is the type of man he is. He is willing to be homeless and sleep in his car for an entire weekend so that I can see my daughter, while you, Mr. Bradshaw, take my home and Ariel's home away from us. You left us homeless. and didn't pay maintenance, and you took my daughter away from me, while he does everything to try and help me see my daughter, and for Ariel to see her mother because he cares about her development, her health, her well-being. She needs her mother. That is what is natural. What you're doing is unnatural. So all of this was going on, and my stress levels were extremely high, unnaturally high, because of this unnatural event and occurrence in my life, day after day after day, where I don't see my own child. I don't know how she's doing. I don't know what's going on with her. I can't help her with her schoolwork. I don't drive her to school. I don't make her lunch. I don't see her every morning. I can't help her with her homework.
And all these red flags are going up.
Exactly. And now we're pregnant. And I'm told by absolutely everyone where I go for checks, hospital, nurses, midwives, everywhere, they say to me, you're not as young and healthy as you were when you had Ariel. You're an older lady now. It's extremely important that you do not stress. This nurse told me in the beginning of the pregnancy, do not stress. I was like, but that's impossible. Because my husband drags me to court. And he's stolen my daughter and I don't see her every day. And my heart is broken. How do I not stress? Stress raises your cortisol levels. Mine was raised to an unnaturally, dangerously high level on a daily basis due to my concern and constant worry for my daughter. This is an unhealthy, detrimental environment for a baby to grow in. Plus my age, plus I was high risk for Down syndrome. She did not die because I'm a druggie. She died of a broken heart. Because I had a broken heart. Because you stole my little girl, Jade. And I'm her mother. That's literally what God made me to do. That's my identity. That's my job. That's my purpose. You broke my heart, and my body couldn't make a baby with a whole heart. Because it's not natural for a mother to be separated from her little girl. Because my entire biology is made up to care for her, to watch her for symptoms. Is everything okay? That's my job. And I couldn't assess the situation properly because she's not with me. And when she is with me, there's just red flags everywhere. And everything is wrong and I can't help her. And I go to court and no one will listen to me. I wrote email after email after email to Elaine Botha, family advocate, placing all my concerns on record. She did nothing. Nothing. She kept saying she doesn't have a mandate. She can't do anything. She can't interfere. That's not her job. All she has to do is write recommendations. But I couldn't get help from a social worker with all these concerns because they say family advocate Elaine is the one on the case. So now who is supposed to help a little girl in a divorce? I don't understand, Himansdorp. I don't understand the laws of this country. If a mother cannot get help from the family advocate appointed to the case, because she says it's not her job. She can't interfere. But I approach a social worker, many, and they say it's a conflict of interest. There's already a social worker on the case. And any applications I try to bring before the children's court, they say I can't hand it in myself. I need a social worker. But social workers won't help me because Family Advocate Elaine's on the case. So I report my concerns to Family Advocate Elaine, and she does nothing because she says she can't do anything. It's not her job to interfere.
Unless Jade and Mr. Spangenberg asks for something.
Yes. So there's a massive gap in the system where little children are falling through the system and not getting care, and the mother gets blamed for it.
And for anyone who wants to say social services and all that hoo-ha, those officers direct you back to CMR or the Family Advocate, or find a private social worker.
I reported concerns to Childline. They referred me to the Department of Social Development, who referred me to a social worker. When I went to the Department of Social Development, they said they can't do anything. This is not their job. I don't know what their job is, but it's not that. They said I must go to a social worker. When I go to social workers, CMR in particular, they say they can't help. Not only because Elaine told them not to, because apparently there can't be more than one social worker on a case. So then I'm back to Elaine, who also says she can't help me. So for those of you saying I'm a bad mother and I don't care about my daughter, this is the runaround I've been getting for 3 years. And I cannot get an application into children's court.
And in the meantime, more and more other red flags keep going up.
And so amidst all this stress and all this worry and all this concern and all this unnaturalness, we were trying our best to have a healthy pregnancy. But I couldn't not stress because Mr. Bradshaw was creating stress in my life, serving me with more ex partes, dragging me to court while I'm heavily pregnant about to give birth. I have begged and pleaded with him for peace. Peace, Jade, peace, for Ariel's sake, peace. Before we get to the last bit, I want to go back to 2 things. In the beginning, when I had primary care and Ariel was living with me and the divorce started, she was still breastfeeding. The first interview with Family Advocate Elaine Buerta and subsequent phone calls and emails, she was putting pressure on me that Ariel must sleep over at Jade's house. I didn't understand why this was necessary, because at that stage he was seeing her every single damn afternoon at my expense. I was driving her there and back every single day, even though he wasn't paying maintenance. Petrol money doesn't fall out of the sky. And I was still letting you see your daughter. And then you stole the car. But I was still expected to drive Ariel to see you when you stole the car. How? How, Jade? How must I facilitate a relationship between you if you don't pay maintenance and you steal the car? But all the Family Advocates reports say I am responsible for transport. I must drive Ariel to Jade. I must pick her up for visits. I must drop her off. Why not him? He's the one with the car. He stole the car. He's the one with the car. Why is he not tasked with the responsibility of dropping her and fetching her? Why, Family Advocate Elaine Buerta, did I have to do it? When you know I'm not getting maintenance and he stole the car. How? It became a Mr. LaRue's responsibility. when it's got nothing to do with him. Errol isn't his daughter, but he's taken better care of her than Jade Bradshaw you ever will. You are a disgusting father. The point is, I was driving there 3 or 4 times a week, at least, if not every afternoon. She was seeing her father. Why Family Advocate Elaine Porter when my little girl was still breastfeeding at night and sleeping with her mommy because she was co-sleeping? How is it in her best interest to have sleepovers at her father's house when she's used to sleeping with her mother and used to having her mother comfort her and help her back to sleep, and she's used to breastfeeding back to sleep? You are a family advocate. The World Health Organization says the natural term breastfeeding and the international weaning age is between 2 and 7 years old. She was 3 at the time, and still breastfeeding. And you were putting pressure on me to let my little girl sleep at her father's house when she had never been away from me for more than a few hours at a time. And at night she slept with me. She breastfed from me. I needed to get her back to sleep. How was it in her best interest? But my attorney at the time said to me, I have to cooperate with the family advocate. I basically have to lick her ass to stay on favorable terms to get a favorable report. So I had to wean my daughter before I had planned to, because I had planned to natural term breastfeed. I had to wean her against what's best for her by international medical and health standards. I had to follow your standards, Elaine Botha, and do what was not best for my child to get your approval for primary care, even though I am her mother. You are guilty of child abuse, Elaine Botha. You've ruined this little girl's childhood and development. The other thing I want to say, during the divorce, after I had left, Jade's father moved there. He moved in after I left, because he was not the one that threatened me, Jade, you did. And then his wife moved there, because his father was married. His father had a wife. His wife is a nurse. His wife was a nurse, and she was taking care of him because his father was extremely ill and had been for many, many years. We cared for him together for the 10 years that we were together. His father was an extremely ill man with many, many problems. He needed care. Before we moved to Jeffreys Bay, when we were in East London, he was in frail care in a home because he needs constant care. Then he got married to a nurse, so he was able to live with her because she could take care of him. This was his wife. Jade Bradshaw chased his father's wife away and told her she's not allowed back in their home until the divorce is finished. She phoned my father one night after weeks or months or whatever in a state. She was so upset because they won't let her back home. All her stuff is there, her clothes is there. She doesn't understand what's going on. She just wants to know, is the divorce finished, because she's told she can't come home until the divorce is finished. What are you hiding, Jade Bradshaw? He chased away his father's wife. She was not welcome in their home. His father was living with him in a flat.
His father was bedridden.
Bedridden. He's bedridden in a little garden shed flat, in need of care. His wife is a nurse who cares for him, but he chases the wife away, and she's not welcome there until after the divorce. Why? Why? What's going on? And why after the divorce can come back? Because you're waiting for the divorce to be finalized for primary care for you, or something, I don't know. You denied your father medical care because I know his wife caring for him was the most cheapest and affordable way he could get care. Because I know that the frail care he used to be in for years was 12,000 Rand a month. So now he's got a wife that can take care of him, but you chase her away. And you don't put your father in frail care. You left him and medically neglected him. You left him to die. And the court tasked you with primary care of a little girl when you left your father to die.
Dirty.
That is murder.
Die dirty in a dirty bed.
They found him in his own feces.
Alive and also dead. Not just dead, not post, like loss of control. Found him alive there in his own dirt. When his family tried to turn on him out of fear and then turn back on his side also out of fear or something, who knows, who cares? There's a huge problem there. But that's not the point. Let's get going.
I tried to get family members to testify for me in court to help me with my case because I'm so worried about Ariel. He threatened those family members who knew this information and could verify this evidence. When he found out that they had submitted affidavits to the family advocate, he threatened them with lawsuits, so they were too scared to come and testify in court. And my attorney and the family advocate said they cannot raise this as a concern or a fact in court, because if it's raised, it's got to be proven. And the only way to prove it is for these people to come and testify in person. They can't take an affidavit.
And now suddenly some of them are living in his house with him, but only periodically, almost always when the heat is up. It's not a game, Jade. This is lives. But that is still not the problem that we need to speak about.
We had to go to Cape Town for the birth of our daughter because she was high risk for Down syndrome for the entire pregnancy and until after birth. We did not know for sure if she was Down syndrome. I was high risk for Down syndrome, but anyone who's been through this knows that the only way to confirm it is through a test that is dangerous because there's a risk of miscarriage. And so we didn't want to do the test while I was pregnant because we wanted to give her a chance at life. So only once she was born did they do the test. And the test takes a while. So we didn't get the results immediately. We only got the results that she was in fact Down syndrome by the time we were driving back home, and she was in the hospital already struggling with heart failure here in Himansdorp. So that is where the confusion and the different stories come in, because we did do a post on Facebook about how miraculous her health is and that there's no Down syndrome, because when they first tested her, when they test her vitals and the way she reacts and all of that, not a blood test, the first doctor or nurse or whatever that did those tests said they don't see signs of Down syndrome, and we were so relieved. But then the pediatrician that walked the road with me in Tygerberg Hospital, he was an angel. He was so gentle with all the tests and medical procedures that had to happen. It was so horrible. But he was so gentle and caring. He spoke to me and he said to me, look at this. I've noticed this. There's a few things. We need to do a test for Down syndrome. I do suspect it. We struggled for days to get her blood drawn. Because her heart didn't form properly, the blood flow wasn't normal. Her blood clotted. They had to tie her hand to try and push blood out. And her blood didn't flow. They couldn't draw blood because it didn't flow. And she'd be screaming and crying. But they had to test, because if she's Down syndrome, we have to know so that we can care for her properly. They eventually got enough blood, and then it took a week or two for the results. And then we heard that she was Down syndrome, and so that explained the heart defect. Because it's a regular occurrence and part of Down syndrome to have heart problems. And I had extensive genetic counseling at Tygerberg Hospital. They have genetic counselors for these types of situation, where we go through my medical history, the father's medical history, all the different risk factors. Down syndrome is random. A baby doesn't get Down syndrome because the mother's a druggie, Jeffreys Bay. I'm not. They say your risk is higher when you're older, but at the same time, my midwife and many others told me that young, healthy mothers get Down syndrome babies. I've worked with Down syndrome children. I've got years of experience of working with Down syndrome and autistic needs, special needs kids. I know all about it. It's extremely random, because even though there was Down syndrome in Jean's family, the genetics of it, the way it works, that wasn't even the link. That's not the cause. That's the way it was explained to me. It just happens. But the stress did not help. The severity of it could have been avoided. So we were in Cape Town. Ariel came with because it's school holidays, and the court order said she was allowed to be with me for school holidays. But we had gotten news that my baby's heart was worse. We were hoping that the situation would stay stable. And that's why I was told not to stress, to give this poor little girl a chance at life. But with the already high-risk pregnancy, now you add these extremely high, dangerous, unnatural cortisol levels from the unnatural stress of this divorce and abuse and not having my own daughter around me all the time. I don't know how she's doing every day. The initial heart defect had a chance of staying stable. Then there was a chance that they could operate and she could have lived. But it got worse. The one side of her heart shrunk, too small for them to operate. Now I received this news in Cape Town, which was devastating. It was not what I had prayed for. It was not what I believed. It was not what I hoped for. It was difficult to process. It was difficult to remain hopeful for her quality of life if they can't operate. And so that is the reason Elaine Botha and Mr. Spangenberg, that even though my appointment was earlier in the holidays, it took so long for me to communicate with my attorney that the situation was worse. Because excuse me for not wanting to talk to you the moment I find out bad news. You're not exactly my friends. You don't exactly care about me or my baby or my daughter. I was dealing with an incredibly difficult situation and got incredibly difficult news. And in the midst of this, I was still asked to not stress, to stay as calm as possible, rest as much as possible. Because the more I worry about it, the more I stress, the worse it gets. And we're trying to get her as healthy as possible. We're trying to give her a chance at life. And so I did not want to immediately engage in conflict and fighting over the fact that I couldn't bring Ariel home. And it's not even her damn home. Her home is with her mother, you idiots. She didn't need to go back to that horrible person's house anyway. I was anxious for the way the news was going to be received and the fighting it would cause. So I left it to the last minute because I was nervous and scared and stressed, and they told me not to stress, and it was an impossible situation. Impossible. Because Jade doesn't want to co-parent, and Elaine Botha doesn't want to help, and she refuses to understand my side of the situation. And Hammansdorp Court is corrupt. And so Jade and Spangenberg, yet again, you lied and brought another ex parte that Hammansdorp Court granted again, even though you never want to grant my applications. You don't even want to receive them or process them. And you told the court that I'm this horrible person that stole Ariel and that refuses to show up to court, and that she's so damn unsafe with her own mother who's about to give birth, and you fetched her with the police and a sheriff and a social worker and a whole gang of officials and police from my parents' house in Gordons Bay. Again, Jade. I was in tears. I was begging you for peace. I told you, don't serve this application on me. I can't come to court. I was massive. Could you not see the baby in my tummy? And you want to drag me to court again? I pleaded with you. I said, no, stop this. Don't do this. I can't come to court. I can't. I have to be here. There's no heart specialist in Humansdorp. They're here, Jade. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Why could you not just move on with your life and leave me alone? Because you are sick in the head. You are an obsessive, stalking psychopath. You need help.
And in the meantime, other massive red flags now blatantly come up, and Jade is now drinking and using sedatives together at his own dosage and prescription.
So I had to explain this, because this is where he stops letting me see her altogether. He comes and fetches her. And we have a court order regulating the care and contact that says it's in her best interest for her to have regular contact with her mother. And I try to arrange interim contact arrangements while I'm in Cape Town so I can see my daughter. And he doesn't care. He says, speak to the family advocate. And the family advocate just always says it's not their job. So it's useless. There's no answer here. There's no solution. He doesn't want to make arrangements with me. Just like he never asked me to come collect her. He doesn't make arrangements. When I let them know that I can't bring her back, I have to rest, I have to stay here, the situation is terrible. I said, I'd let my attorney know, and she told them on email, on record, you can fetch her. You can fetch her. I wasn't withholding her. I said you can fetch her. You didn't make arrangements. You didn't contact me. You didn't contact my attorney. You did another court application, lying, when you could have just messaged me and said, I want to fetch her this date, this time. And my address was on record. And you said in your application you didn't know where to find her. You had no way to verify the address. What kind of bull is that? We put my parents' address on record. You lied repeatedly again. That's perjury. You've got so many charges of perjury and crimes against you. And you've never had to sleep in a cold police cell. You've never been to prison. Humansdorp Court has been protecting you. And so when our baby was finally born and we were discharged and we were on our way home, I asked you, I said to you, I'm on my way. I want to fetch Ariel tomorrow because there's a contact schedule. There's a court order saying I'm allowed to see her. That was not changed, not by any magistrate in any court. It was valid. You were breaking the law. And you wouldn't let me see her. And they didn't arrest you. They didn't put you in prison.
They called Nico Standard every time.
I tried to open up a case against you for contempt of court for not letting me see my daughter. I opened the case at Kabeja Park in Port Elizabeth because Jeffreys Bay Police does not want to help me ever, because they protect Jade, because this is Nico Standard's case. So I went to Kabeja Park and opened a case. They transferred the case to Jeffreys Bay, then they transferred the case to Humansdorp, then they transferred the case straight to Captain Stander's desk, which is where it sat, and sat and sat. Just like my case I tried to open for the maintenance that he owes me, is sitting on Nico Stander's desk. Sitting. But you can open up cases against me. False charges. Throw me in prison. And you think you don't need to come and explain yourself in court. You just don't show up with the dockets. The case doesn't get withdrawn or dismissed, but it doesn't get heard in court either. No, we don't want this case to go to trial. Oh, no, we don't want this lady to speak in court. Oh, gosh, no, because then Magistrate Dixon will have to go to prison, and Spangenberg will have to go to prison, and Magistrate Mashichu will have to go to prison, and Court Manager Mr. Kunrad will have to go to prison, and the maintenance officers, Lolly and Modifa, would have to go to prison. Oh, no, we can't have this case in court. Let's just say it's in the wrong court. Sorry, ma'am, sorry. Then transfer it to the right court. Oh, sorry, we can't do that. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't work like that. Then dismiss the case. Withdraw the charges. Oh, no, sorry, we can't do that either. And we can't give you back your phones. And we can't give you back your firearm to protect yourself. But I'm very sure the police will come and attack you again. Definitely.
This is the third time my firearm has been taken away that I've had to wait for it to get back, which I use for my other work, which is part of my vital security, which is the reason I have 4 dogs. I used to have 5, and now I have 4, because Nico Stander arrested me while having breakfast with another task force on my farm, at my address, which he had, which he dragged me from, which my dog had to go lie under my bed looking for me and bleed out and die. I found her puffed up, molded, stuck to the floor, because I was in fucking prison. Because Nico Stander, who dresses like Humpty Dumpty, who fucked Postman Pat, dropped his tampon, and I laughed at him, and I had to go to prison. But that is still not the red flag that needs to be discussed.
So Mr. Bradshaw withholds Ariel from me. Refuses for me to see her, refuses for her to see me. She's a little girl. She's now 6. I've missed her birthday. I've missed Christmas. When I try and phone, he puts the phone down in my ear and says she doesn't want to speak to me. She thinks I don't want to see her. Meanwhile, I'm fighting to see her. I go to every single police station. I keep going to court. I approach social workers. I contacted Childline. I contacted Child Welfare in Grahamstown.
In Stellenbosch.
I've gone to Legal Aid in Stellenbosch. I've been everywhere. I want to see my daughter. I just want to see my daughter. And he doesn't let me, even though there's a court order that says I'm allowed to. So the entire December holidays come and go. My baby is dead. My daughter is gone. I have been pregnant twice, given birth twice, breastfed twice, and I spend a Christmas and New Year's alone. Both my daughters gone.
And Elaine Buerta blocks her on WhatsApp.
I reach out to family advocate Elaine Buerta repeatedly begging for help. Standard response: I'm sorry, that's not my job. I don't have a mandate. I can't help you.
Unless she wants to change something, then she shows up again, uninvited, and makes it her mandate, even though a judge is laughing at her behind her back.
But she will come to court and defend Mr. Bradshaw and his criminal behavior. She excused and defended him stealing the car. She said he removed it by way of the spare key. Family advocate Elaine Buerta has repeatedly and consistently for 3.5 years defended a criminal, and she has placed a minor in a criminal's care. And she has ignored the concerns and the plight of her biological mother. And this mess, all of you are directly responsible for the death of our baby. Because you are evil. So, I have to wait until court matters start up in January again. Jean and I spent the entire December holidays absolutely alone, heartbroken, at home, missing Ariel, missing our baby, hanging on to God, believing that He is good. Things will get better. He is a righteous and just God. He loves us. Things will get better. Do you know, Jade Bradshaw, that your lies and rumors and horrible behavior has spread such doubt amongst even my own family? You have absolutely ruined my life and ruined all the relationships between me and my family members. Everyone believes your lies. Everyone. No one showed up when my baby died. No one showed up when our baby died. Not one member of Jean's family or my family showed up when our baby died. Because everyone doubts us. They don't know what to believe anymore. Because you're such a horrible person, Jade Bradshaw. And everyone just believes you.
Because you squint your eyes and draw a SASSA grant while having access to millions of rands, which you squander instead of investing in your daughter, who you unnaturally took food out of her mouth and care from in order to blackmail her mother. You are insane.
You do not love your daughter. You do not love me. You don't know what love is. Your behavior is unnatural. It is dangerous. I am concerned for my daughter's safety every day. I had to go and fight for her in court, day after day, for an entire week in January, where the magistrate had to repeatedly spell it out for Jade that the court order was valid. Ariel had a right to see me after he had withheld and blocked contact between us for months. She never got to meet her baby sister. We couldn't arrange a funeral or mourn properly because I was fighting to see my girl because I'm so worried about her. I couldn't even mourn in peace. He doesn't even have respect for the dead, let alone the living.
And between this whole mess, he is missing a lot of red flags, or causing a lot of red flags, which we are trying to get to. And we know this is taking long, but that is the whole problem and point, and you need to understand.
So, eventually, I show up to Jade's house with an email from the magistrate saying the court is live to the violation of the child's right to see her mother. It had to be spelled out for him that he was going to get arrested if he doesn't obey this court order. That's how many chances they give him, right? 3.5 years of actually disobeying court orders, when I've never actually disobeyed one. It's all been allegations and misunderstandings. But he's actually been in contempt of court, on purpose, repeatedly. So I finally see my daughter for the first time in months. Sean's driving us back to the farm where we live. Ira and I are sitting at the back. She's hugging me. She's happy to see me. We're catching up. We're chatting. I ask her, how are you doing? She says to me, Mommy, my tummy hurts. I said, does it hurt a lot? Yes. When? Every day, every night, all the time, for a long time? Yes, long time. Has Daddy taken you to the doctor? Once he gives me medicine. He hasn't taken me again, but I've told him it's still hurting, but he just keeps giving me medicine. He just keeps giving me medicine. He just keeps giving me medicine. Jade, you're disgusting. You are self-medicating that little young girl. You've been giving her medicine every day for years for a sore tummy instead of finding out what's wrong with her tummy and fixing it. And I can tell you what's wrong with her tummy on many levels. 1, anxiety. She misses her mother. A little girl needs her mother. 2, all the medicine you're giving her is not healthy, not natural, not safe. It's dangerous. 3, there's something else going on here. Because she says tummy, but she's meaning vagina. But she can't say it. She can't say it. She asked me to take her to the doctor because Daddy doesn't. She says, I've asked him repeatedly. He says, no, he doesn't take me. He just gives me medicine all the time, but it still hurts and it's not working. I ask her, is she okay to go to school tomorrow? Or must I take you to the doctor tomorrow morning? She says, no, she wants to go to school. Because I think there was some fun event or Sibby's Day or something going on. And so I was thinking, if she's excited to go to school, it can't be that serious or that sore that she wants to miss school, because I'm constantly getting flack for not taking her to school and all the school she's missing, because I take her to doctor when she should be at school, but that's the only time I see her. I can only take her when she's with me, because Jade doesn't take her. So when else am I supposed to take her, Magistrate Dixon? So she goes to school. I pick her up Friday afternoon. She says her tummy's still sore. We're driving around in Port Elizabeth because I've got work there. I explained to her, Mommy's busy working. I'm actually very busy. We're already going to get home late. Is it urgent or can I maybe take you tomorrow? She says, no, Mommy, it's urgent. My tummy's sore. Please, it's urgent. So I find out, I get a recommendation from my midwife for a doctor because I'm not familiar with the area. The doctor she's seen before that we took her to is in Jeffreys Bay. So we go. I don't have an appointment, so we have to wait. So I phone Jade for the medical aid details while we're waiting, and he fights with me over the phone again. He's angry. He's angry that I'm taking his daughter to the doctor. He's angry with me. He's fighting with me over the phone. Doesn't want me to take her to the doctor. She doesn't need the doctor, he says. Just bring her to my house. I'll give her medicine. She doesn't need to go to the doctor. I'm not paying for the doctor. We see the doctor. She's asking me, what's wrong? When does her tummy get sore? How often? What does she eat? Is it before or after eating? These are normal questions, Magistrate Dixon. Because how is the doctor supposed to figure out what's wrong if she doesn't ask questions? I don't know how you think a doctor is supposed to diagnose without asking questions, but I was accused of having my girl interrogated unnecessarily. But there is no other way because we don't know what happens at Mr. Bradshaw's house. I'm not there. So how else? We can't smell what's wrong, and he doesn't take her to the doctor, and we don't know what goes on there because there's no supervision. So she has to ask questions. Do you know how horrible it is for a mother to sit in a doctor's office when your daughter is complaining of a sore tummy that's been going on for years, every day, every night? But I haven't seen her in 4 months. So I can't answer the questions because I don't know what she's eating. I don't know when it hurts. I don't know before or after what. I don't know her bathroom schedule. I don't know anything about my own damn daughter because she doesn't live with me, because I don't take care of her, because you stole her, Jade Bradshaw. And then when she's sick, you don't take her to the doctor. And I've told the magistrate, and I've told Family Advocate Elaine Botha, and you still give him primary care. Are you insane? You are guilty of child abuse. I've told you repeatedly he medically neglects his own daughter. He doesn't take her to the doctor, and when I take her, he fights with me that she doesn't need to go. What are you hiding, Jade Bradshaw, that you don't want your daughter to go to the doctor? Why do you fight with me every time I take her, and why don't you take her? What are you hiding? So I had to explain to this doctor that I haven't seen my own daughter in 4 months, which is why I'm struggling to answer her basic questions. She was asking about what she's eating and how often she goes to the toilet to assess if it's maybe constipation making her tummy sore. Those are normal questions, Magistrate Dixon. Normal. Have you never been to a doctor's visit before? It wasn't an interrogation. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't malicious. I'm not making trouble. I'm not a troublemaker. I don't not care about my daughter. You wanted to put my daughter in foster care when I told you all of this because you said I don't care about her. But I took her to the doctor because I care about her, because Mr. Bradshaw doesn't take her. What kind of magistrate are you? So Ariel says to the doctor, my tummy hurts every day, every night, every day, every night. She tells me she tells the doctor she doesn't poo often at Daddy's house. She does, but not as often and regularly as at Mommy's house. Now, even me, that's not a doctor, can tell you that means she's more relaxed at my house. She's more comfortable. It's either purely emotional, or if it's physical, it's got something to do with what she's eating or drinking, or what he's mixing into her food, or what he is drugging her with. The doctor felt on her tummy to check for physical things. She said she had to do a test, a urine test, to check for bacteria or a urinary tract infection. But when I was explaining to the doctor, she's a lady, so she got it, she understood. When I was explaining to the doctor that I haven't seen my daughter in 4 months, Jade won't let me speak to her. He won't let us see each other. So he's blocking our contact. He's withholding her from me and me from him. So we can't speak. If we can't speak and see each other, she can't tell me what's wrong. She can't get help. She can't ask for help. And he doesn't take her to the doctor. And he fights with me when I take her to the doctor. She eventually put 2 and 2 together. He's not letting us see each other. He doesn't take her to the doctor. Oh. She asked me to come and look. She inspected my daughter's vagina. There was redness and swelling and inflammation on the inside. Inside. I saw it with my own eyes. With my own eyes. Now the doctor couldn't jump to that conclusion, especially without tests being done. And we were not sure yet at that stage what was going on, but we were both extremely concerned. And Ariel was clinging to me. And because she is in Mr. Bradshaw's primary care, and something is wrong because she's complaining of a sore tummy, but there's redness in her vagina, the doctor was obliged to phone Mr. Bradshaw and speak to him about this entire divorce mess and the fact that she's living with him but missing me. Mr. Bradshaw was extremely rude on the phone to the doctor. He accused me of being a druggie. He said Ariel's tummy is sore because she's nervous to be with me, which is not true, you disgusting lying pig. The doctor tried to explain to him that Ariel needs therapy, she needs help. She needs to be helped through this divorce and the separation and the fact that she doesn't live with her mother and she doesn't get to see her mother. She's not doing well. Because when Jade said that her tummy is sore because she's nervous to be with me, she's scared of me, as he said it, she was in my arms clinging to me, hugging me because she hadn't seen me in 4 months. The doctor's answer was, but the child is displaying symptoms of needing the mother. Because what you are doing is unnatural, Jade. A child needs her mother. So she was clinging to me. The doctor was concerned. The doctor sat down and asked Ariel, Ariel, do you love your mommy? Yes. Do you miss your mommy? Yes. Do you like living at Daddy's house? No. Do you want to live with Mommy? Yes. Do you cry a lot? Yes. I didn't ask her these things, Magistrate Dixon. I didn't interrogate her. The doctor was concerned with what she was seeing. Because you guys did something unnatural. You stole a child. And you withheld her from a normal childhood. You messed up her childhood. You denied her the opportunity to be raised by her own mother for years. She's done nothing wrong. And you won't let her own mother raise her. Jade will pay Spangenberg to fight me in court. He'll pay a criminal to steal the car. But he won't pay maintenance. So Ariel's own mother can raise her, so she can be raised by her own mother. And you give him primary care. Are you insane? You should not be a magistrate, Magistrate Dixon. Your license should be stripped. You should be in jail. Elaine Buerta, you should not be a family advocate. Your license should be stripped. You should be in jail. You are all guilty of child abuse. You should not hold positions of power. You should not do the jobs that you are doing. You are ruining children's lives. You are ruining their crucial years of development that shape their future. We might struggle with a girl that turns into a very, very problematic, troubled, difficult teenager and young adult because of the trauma she's had to endure. Have you not studied child psychology? Do you not know anything? How are you in the positions that you are? How do you do the work that you do? The doctor was concerned. I was not subjecting my daughter to interrogation. I was not making trouble. I am not a bad mother. This is not a reason to put a girl in foster care, Magistrate Dixon. I saw it with my own eyes. The doctor gave us cream. I was supposed to apply it and monitor her symptoms, but she had to go back to her father's house. I tried to bring an application before the court to explain what's going on. I said, this little young girl needs medical care of a sensitive nature. She deserves to be handled with care and respect. Let her stay at her mother's house for a while, at least just for the cream to be applied twice a day inside her vagina. Now you want her father to do it when he's possibly the cause of it. Possibly. Even if he isn't. She deserves privacy. She deserves respect. She's a little girl. I'm right here. Why can't she just come stay with me for a little while until we sort this out and investigate? Sis, man. You threatened to put my daughter in foster care. You made a court order saying you want legal aid appointed for my child and you want to put her in foster care. Because I brought concerns to you. You were scared of getting into trouble because if it's the truth, you must lose your job and go to jail because you signed the court order that first removed her from my care. You wanted this to go away. You wanted to protect your career and your reputation. Red flags for a child predator: isolation, blocking contact, grooming, hand over the mouth, child not comfortable speaking anymore, changes in personality. when we left, because of the disgusting corruption at Hinmansdorp and what they had allowed and what they tried to hide and silence to protect themselves at the expense of my little girl and her well-being and her integrity
and
dignity. We left. I reported you, Magistrate Dixon, Heinz Spangenberg, Mr. Buller, Family Advocate Elaine Botha. I reported you to the Legal Practice Council because of this mess. And I told you I reported you. I notified you. And I told you I'm not coming to your court anymore because this is not justice. You are corrupt and you don't listen to me and you don't care about my daughter. I told you I'm going to another court, a different jurisdiction. I wasn't running away from the law. I was running to the law. We were on our way to Durban or Pretoria or Joburg or Cape Town, anywhere but here, hoping to find a court where the law works and where they'll help me and protect my little girl.
And where there was family and friends still willing to help after all the damage you had caused in family structures, with horrible lies and allegations that now seem to be transferred from your side to ours. The story continues.
The doctor told me a day or two later, she phoned. She told me the test results came back. She said it's not bacteria, which means it's not an infection. That's when my heart sank, because we couldn't explain it away like that, which meant something else was going on. She told me she found crystals in my daughter's urine. She said she's not sure what it's from. Sometimes crystals in the urine can indicate a kidney problem, but Ariel is apparently too young for that. So she was concerned because she's not sure what it is from. What are you hiding, Mr. Bradshaw? What are you drugging our daughter with? I brought an urgent application before the court. I asked Magistrate Dixon specifically to make my daughter safe and remove her from her immediate environment where this is happening, because we don't know what is happening. And the correct thing to do is to make her safe. Because if something is going on, what is her immediate environment? Where is she every day? She's at school and she's at Jade's house. So remove her from those two places. Place her safely in my care. Let me take her to the doctor and monitor her and take her for therapy, and let's find out what's going on. You would not grant my application, Magistrate Dixon. But Hinmansdorp Court and all the various corrupt magistrates there, you have repeatedly and consistently for 3.5 years granted Mr. Bradshaw's ex partes. Ex parte means no parte. This part of the story does not get heard. He's had 3 of those granted. 3. But I bring a real, serious application to you with the truth, not allegations, not lies. And you told me, Magistrate Dixon, my application is hearsay. You shouted at me and badgered me in court, saying I don't have a doctor's report. When I told you repeatedly, the doctor told me she cannot give me a report because we are busy with legal battles. When there are legal battles, the court has to get the doctor's report. I gave you her contact details. I said, this is the doctor, this is where she is, here's her email address, here's her phone number. You have to request the doctor's report. She can't give it to me. But you told me my application was hearsay, there's no evidence, and I'm a bad mother and I'm making trouble. That is why we left and fled the province. We fled from your corrupt jurisdiction, Himansdorphof, Magistrate Dixon, Heinz Spangenberg, Kaptein Nico Stander. Because I am a good mother and I'm so concerned about my daughter. And none of you are. You're just concerned with protecting your careers and your reputation because it's all at stake because you made such a big mess of this. You are so guilty. You committed so many crimes and you've ruined a little girl's life. That is why you don't want me in a court. That's why you put me in prison. Because you're trying to keep me quiet because you can lose everything. But I don't care. That's my little girl. That is my little girl. And God made me her mother. He made me her mother. It's my job, my God-given duty to protect her. And so that is what I am doing. I am tasked with the responsibility of protecting that little girl. And that is what I am doing. But you have tied my hands with court orders for 3 years, not listening to me, saying I don't have a voice, I don't have rights. You've taken all my rights and my way of protecting my girl away. And you've literally put me in prison. I was cuffed. I was literally cuffed and put in prison for trying to protect my daughter because of your mistakes. You made a mistake. You made a mistake, Magistrate Dixon. And your whole career is on the line, and your entire reputation, and you should be in jail. So you put me in jail. And you were all hoping I would get attacked or killed, and the problem would just go away.
My friends who I sent to try and assist Nel Marie at her first appearance after her first arrest, whilst I was stuck, battered and bruised in Coffee Bay, waiting for my property and my firearm. They had been given a runaround the whole morning at the court. One had to leave because it was already lunchtime. They were lied to, they were misled, they were told misinformation. Eventually, by little winks and whispers, they found Nel Marie standing alone in the court, not on any rolls, late in the day after being shifted around between cells and different courts. He says he found Spangenberg and Stander sitting like two gay lovers in the back of the court next to each other, smiling at Nel Marie, getting her liberty raped from her.
They were giggling and laughing at me when I was brought in from custody to appear before court. When I was being told I have to go to prison, I can't get bail. Spangenberg en Nico Stander, ek hoop julle vrou en kinders los julle. Cease.
And Lionel said in front of Elaine Buerta and Miss Conradi, whatever her name is, the sidekick social worker, who skivvies for Elaine, in front of them at the unnecessary but forced house check by Jade at 26 Hummingbird in Aston Bay, in the road in the evening at about 6, after we'd had the house cleared again for the safe return, for only a visit where I had to leave and go sleep at the beach, of now needing to see her daughter. Lionel said, there's another 1 or 2 cases just like this happening in the town right now. He doesn't know how he's going to get to all of them. 1 or 2 other cases similar. The one mom, I don't know who she is, has 2 children. And she's in this same mess against another developer, a builder of some sort. Okay, that's not my problem. Only an infant or a fool thinks he knows what's going on inside a relationship. I reached out to Lionel and asked if we, my organization, may supply her with funding and food, even anonymously. He ignored me to this day. But that's not why we're sitting here. But does that not show a huge problem?
So while we were away, because Ariel had not seen her father for months, and we were further and further away, and more time had gone, she started to relax. She started to open up. This is what she told John and I. She said at night, at Daddy's house, I get blurry vision before bedtime. Only at Daddy's house, not when I'm with you and John. She gets blurry vision at night before bedtime. Only at Daddy's house, not when I'm with you, not with you and John. She's also told us, and I know, because Jade makes no secret of it, that Errol still sleeps in bed with him. She has a room, she has a bed. He doesn't let her sleep in it. She's not a baby anymore. And he's not her mother. She's a young, beautiful, vulnerable, 6-year-old little girl. He's not giving her privacy. He's not respecting her. He's not allowing her to sleep in her own bed at night. When the doctor told me that it wasn't an infection because she didn't find any bacteria in the test results, but she wanted me to monitor Ariel and follow up, and she wants to know how she's doing, and we need to carry on figuring this out. I took her for a follow-up appointment where we discussed all of this, where Elaine Buerta phoned and interfered and bad-mouthed me to the doctor. The doctor said to me, if I suspect molestation, the appropriate thing to do is to take her to Tutuzela. It's a care center for sexual abuse within the government sector at the state hospital. So I followed her recommendation because I have nothing to hide, because I care about my daughter and I take her to her appointments and I give her medical care because I'm trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with her and what you are hiding, Mr. Bradshaw. I took her to Tutuzela. We sat and we spoke to a nurse. Ariel explained to the nurse that if she falls asleep in her own bed, her dad picks her up and carries her to his bed. She doesn't know why. When Ariel is with us, she has her own room and her own bed that the family advocate made such a big fuss about. But for 3 years it's been reported that Ariel sleeps in Mr. Bradshaw's bed not willingly. He forces her to sleep in bed with him. He won't allow her to sleep in her own room, in her own bed. You have not made a fuss about that, Elaine Botha. You've not removed little Ariel from Mr. Bradshaw's care, Elaine Botha. Your hypocrisy and double standards is noted to the detriment of my little girl's dignity. When she is at our house, she has her own room and her own bed. Now granted, she often wakes up at night, she gets scared. I am her mother. She comes to me for comfort. I mostly go to her bed and help her fall back asleep. Sometimes I let her come cuddle in bed with me. But the point is, her room is not just for show. At 6 years old, she's supposed to be learning and practicing to sleep by herself. And as a little girl, in her father's house where there's no supervision, and there are other people living there too, and he can get visitors, I don't know what is going on there, why she gets blurry vision at night, why there's crystals in her urine. Now when asked by the doctor and the nurse at Tutuzela if someone touches her or fiddles with her or if she knows anything, she says no. But I have realized since then, if she's getting blurry vision, there's a possibility that he is drugging her. If she has blurry vision at night before bedtime at Daddy's house and passes out and she's unconscious, she doesn't know what is happening to her. Who's doing what? How many of them? Because this man is friends with a witch. I know her. She brings gifts for my daughter, crystal necklaces that she hangs around her neck. She makes dream catchers for them. He is friends with this woman. He allows her in his house. He allows her around my daughter. And she is a witch and she crafts spells. And she is a disgusting, harmful, dangerous human being because she meddles with things that you should not meddle with. And he's allowing this around my little girl. And what else? What else? What are they doing to her? What is happening there at night? What is he hiding? Why is she not allowed to speak to me? Why can't I see her? Why doesn't he take her to the doctor? Why does she have her hand over her mouth? Why is there crystals in her urine? Why is she getting blurry vision?
Why does she have mossy bites on her bum?
Yes, I forgot about that. The first time I saw her, in 4 months, her bum was covered in bite marks. They looked like mosquito bites. But she had them all over her bum. And I couldn't understand it. Because if you're bathing or showering, you're not exposed for that long to have so many bites. You have to be exposed for a very, very long time, like maybe sleeping naked in your father's bed, for you to get that many mosquito bites on your bum. Because you must not be wearing a panty or pants. There are too many red flags. And Elaine Botha wouldn't help me. And Magistrate Dixon, when I brought the application to you, telling you about these red flags, you threatened to put my daughter in foster care and appoint legal aid for her. You did not want to make her safe. So I had to do it. So I left to protect her from whatever the hell is going on there. And then because you were scared of getting in trouble, you sent Captain Nico Stander to attack me in front of my daughter, screaming and crying. You've all heard the video. She's screaming, she's crying, while Captain Stander is hurting me. She's saying, I hate you so bad. And he's pulling me by my hair and he's throwing me out the bus. And he's cuffing me like a criminal when I'm trying to protect my daughter, when Jade is the criminal. And you are the criminal, Captain Nico Stander. You stole my daughter. But you made a mistake. And Magistrate Dixon, you made a mistake when you signed that court order. And you're scared of your mistake. You're scared of the consequences. So you came after me. Because you didn't want it to be true. But there is nothing going on here. And I paid a lawyer a few weeks ago 10,000 rand. Jean sold his motorbike and paid Mr. Duncan Hewer 10,000 rand to help my daughter. I gave him instructions to action urgent, immediate lawsuits and help my daughter and get her safe. He took our money, looked me in the eye, promised me he would help me. I told my daughter I'm getting help. He stole our money. He pretended to help us. He has done nothing. He has done nothing but steal our money and lie. And he pretended to help us. And now I cannot pay that money to a lawyer who will help me. Because you've stolen my money, you sick, sick man, and left my daughter. And you know all of this. I've explained everything to you. That is what is going on here, Jeffreys Bay. That is what is going on. I'm sick and tired of the lies. I'm sick and tired of the rumors. I'm sick and tired of hearing what a miserable rubbish I am. I hope one day I get to see my daughter again. I hope one day I can walk again. I have a torn muscle. I have inflammation in my abdomen. I have irregularities with my womb. I was supposed to be resting the torn muscle to heal. But our landlords at the farm wouldn't renew our lease while we were in jail, and they knew we needed proof of address. You knew, Jeff and Casey, we needed proof of address. And you refused to renew our lease even for 1 month, just to give us proof of address so we can get out. And then we could have moved. You heartless, heartless people. We were in prison for 3 weeks because you wouldn't renew our lease and give us proof of address. And then when we eventually came out, because God opened the prison doors. Because men have forsaken their values. Men are evil. You guys are disgusting. The first time my family helped to get me out of prison, they paid a lawyer. With everything going on and all Mr. Bradshaw's lies and all the rumors and all the noise in everyone's ears. The second time, even my family didn't help me. Not Sean's family, not my family. No one helped us. They left us in prison. God opened the prison doors, because who the Son sets free is free indeed. We are children of God. We answer to Him. You guys are disgusting. Now I was forced to pack and move and unpack, and pack and move and unpack, and pack and move and unpack. Message after message after message from the landlord. When is the property going to be clear? When are you done moving? While I explain to them that I am injured, I have a torn muscle, I'm supposed to be resting. But I tried to get the move done. And in trying, I have made the injury so much worse, because I was supposed to be resting. It has retorn, or there's an infection or something. But the situation became worse and worse and worse, to the point where I cannot stand or walk. I can't get out of bed. Now, I've had a very difficult relationship with my mother. Very strained. Because she was a very sick and sad woman. She was not healthy. But in her own in the midst of all the sickness and the depression and the battles she fought, she loved me in her own way, even though it was very difficult. But she did care so much about me and Ariel, and she was so worried about us all the time. And Jade Bradshaw, you made such a mess of the relationships in my family, because everyone started doubting us. And my mother just wanted us to be safe. She died of a broken heart. She died of a heart attack, Jade Bradshaw. My baby died of a broken heart. I hope I don't die of a broken heart before I get to see my daughter. And I hope someone, a social worker, a policeman, a magistrate, a teacher, anyone that has the authority to remove a child and take her to a place of safety, I hope you go and help that little girl, because if I go, I will be arrested again. I cannot go. But I'm asking for help. Can someone please help my daughter and bring her home to me? Please. Please. She needs her mother. She's not safe there. Mr. Bradshaw is dangerous. He medically neglected his own father and left him to die. He doesn't take her to the doctor. He won't let her sleep in her own bed. Her vagina is red. She gets blurry vision. She doesn't feel comfortable speaking. He monitors our phone calls. Supervised phone calls. He's always listening, always watching. She's got no privacy. She can't ask for help. There's something wrong. This girl needs help. Can someone fix this, please? One of you people that made this mess, that's responsible for this, Magistrate Dixon, can you fix this, please? Elaine Botha, can you fix this, please? Captain Nico Stander, can you hand in your badge and just go sit in the corner and shut up? That is what's going on, Jeffreys Bay. That is what's going on, my family, Jean's family, friends who have deserted us, who's still not speaking to us. That is what is going on here. I hope everyone can sleep well tonight. I can't, because I don't know what's happening to my daughter in the evenings, and no one will help me. I hope you all have a good evening. God bless.